Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the rise and fall of one of the most iconic mobile phone companies of all time, Nokia. Remember those indestructible Nokia phones? Yeah, they were practically indestructible, but even the toughest phone can't survive bad decisions forever. We'll explore 7 key reasons that led to Nokia's decline, each explained in detail. Get ready for a wild ride through tech history, because this is a story you won't want to miss. So, picture this. It's the early 2000s, and Nokia is at the top of the mobile phone world. They were the kings of the mobile industry, dominating the market with their innovative designs and reliable technology. They were like the Apple of their time. Everyone wanted a Nokia. Their phones were everywhere, from bustling city streets to remote villages. It was a brand that symbolized connectivity and reliability. Remember the Nokia 3310? That thing was practically indestructible. You could drop it, throw it, even run it over, and it would still work. It was the phone that could survive anything, and it became a cultural icon. And they had a phone for everyone, from basic models to early smartphones. Whether you needed a simple device for calls and texts, or a more advanced phone with early internet capabilities, Nokia had you covered. But then something big happened: the iPhone. In 2007, Steve Jobs unveiled a device that would revolutionize the industry. The iPhone wasn't just a phone, it was a mini computer, a music player, and a camera all in one. Apple completely changed the game with the iPhone's touchscreen technology and app ecosystem. The sleek design, intuitive interface, and the ability to download apps transformed how people interacted with their phones. Suddenly, Nokia's hardware-focused approach, with their physical keypads and limited software, just didn't cut it anymore. Their phones felt outdated and clunky compared to the smooth, responsive touchscreens of the iPhone. It was like Nokia was stuck in the past, still trying to perfect the flip phone while the rest of the world was moving on to smartphones. They were slow to recognize the shift in consumer preferences and the importance of software. They did try to adapt, eventually releasing touchscreen phones, but it was too little, too late. The damage was done. By the time they caught up, Apple and other competitors had already captured the market. Nokia's once unassailable lead had evaporated, and they struggled to regain their footing in a rapidly evolving industry. The lesson here? In the fast-paced world of technology, staying ahead of the curve is crucial. Nokia missed the memo, and it cost them dearly. Now, let's talk software. The backbone of any mobile device, software is what makes or breaks the user experience. It's the invisible hand guiding every swipe, tap, and click. Nokia was heavily invested in its own operating system called Symbian. This OS was a pioneer in the early days of mobile technology, offering features that were ahead of its time. It was popular in the early 2000s, but compared to the iPhone's iOS and later Android, Symbian felt clunky and outdated. The sleek, intuitive interfaces of iOS and Android made Symbian look like a relic from a bygone era. It was like trying to navigate a maze just to send a text message. Users found themselves frustrated with the cumbersome menus and slow response times. Nokia needed a change, a software revolution. The company realized that to stay relevant, it had to offer a more modern, user-friendly experience. Enter Microsoft and their Windows Phone operating system. Microsoft promised a fresh start with a new, innovative approach to mobile software. In 2011, Nokia made a bold move, ditching Symbian and partnering with Microsoft. This was a significant shift, marking the end of an era for Symbian and the beginning of a new chapter with Windows Phone. It was a risky bet, hoping that Windows Phone could compete with the already established iOS and Android. The stakes were high, and the industry watched closely to see if this partnership could turn the tide for Nokia. But the partnership faced some serious challenges. The mobile market was already dominated by iOS and Android, making it difficult for a new player to gain a foothold. Windows Phone, while innovative in some ways, struggled to attract app developers and gain traction with consumers. The lack of popular apps was a significant drawback, as users were already accustomed to the rich ecosystems of iOS and Android. It lacked the app ecosystem and user-friendliness of its competitors. Despite its unique features and design, Windows Phone couldn't match the extensive app libraries and seamless user experiences offered by iOS and Android. This struggle highlighted the importance of a robust app ecosystem in the success of a mobile operating system. For years, Nokia was the undisputed king of the mobile phone market. They had the market share, the brand recognition, the loyal customers. But this success also bred a sense of overconfidence, a belief that they were invincible. They had become slow to innovate, resistant to change. Why fix what isn't broken, right? Well, the problem was the mobile phone market was changing rapidly, and Nokia was stuck in its old ways. They underestimated the threat from Apple and other emerging competitors. They failed to recognize the seismic shift in consumer preferences towards sleek design, intuitive user interfaces, and a thriving app ecosystem. Chapter 4: The Microsoft Gamble, a partnership that fell short. Let's rewind to 2011 when Nokia made that fateful decision to partner with Microsoft. It was a time of great uncertainty for Nokia, a company that had once dominated the mobile phone market, but was now struggling to keep up with the rapid advancements in smartphone technology. It was a Hail Mary pass, a desperate attempt to regain lost ground in the smartphone arena. Nokia, known for its robust hardware, was losing its market share to the likes of Apple and Android. The partnership with Microsoft was seen as a last-ditch effort to stay relevant in an increasingly competitive market. The idea was to combine Nokia's hardware expertise with Microsoft's software prowess to create a formidable competitor to Apple and Android. The vision was clear: leverage Nokia's strength in mobile hardware and Microsoft's experience in software to produce a unique and powerful smartphone experience. They poured resources into developing Windows Phone devices, hoping to create a compelling alternative. Engineers and developers from both companies worked tirelessly, investing countless hours into the project. The launch events were grand, filled with optimism and high expectations. But the partnership faced an uphill battle from the start. The market was already saturated with well-established players, and breaking through was no easy feat. The challenges were immense and the stakes were high. Windows Phone, despite its sleek interface and innovative features, struggled to gain a foothold in a market dominated by iOS and Android. The operating system was praised for its design and functionality, but it simply couldn't attract enough users to make a significant impact. App developers were hesitant to create apps for the platform, and consumers were slow to embrace it. The lack of popular apps was a major drawback, and it became a vicious cycle. Without users, developers were reluctant to invest, and without apps, users saw little reason to switch. The partnership, despite its potential, ultimately fell short of its ambitious goals. Behind every successful tech giant, there's usually a visionary leader, someone who can anticipate market trends and make bold decisions. Think Steve Jobs at Apple or Bill Gates at Microsoft. But in Nokia's case, there was a lack of clear, decisive leadership during those crucial years. Internal conflicts and a revolving door of CEOs created confusion and instability. Strategic decisions were often delayed or poorly executed. The company seemed to lack a cohesive vision for the future. They were reacting to the market instead of shaping it. This lack of direction and decisiveness proved costly, as Nokia struggled to keep pace with the rapid innovation and fierce competition in the smartphone industry. While Nokia was grappling with internal challenges and strategic missteps, a new breed of competitors was emerging, hungry for market share. Apple, with its sleek iPhones and intuitive iOS, had captured the imagination of consumers worldwide. Samsung, with its aggressive marketing and innovative Android devices, was quickly gaining ground. These companies understood the power of a seamless user experience, a thriving app ecosystem, and constant innovation. They were agile, adaptable, and laser-focused on meeting the evolving needs of smartphone users. Nokia, on the other hand, seemed stuck in the past, clinging to its former glory while the world moved on without them. In the world of smartphones, it's not just about having the most powerful hardware anymore. It's about the overall user experience, how intuitive the software is, how seamlessly the hardware and software work together, and how enjoyable the device is to use. And this is where Nokia really missed the mark. While they continued to focus on building durable, well-built phones, they neglected the software side of the equation. Their operating systems, both Symbian and later Windows Phone, felt clunky and outdated compared to the competition. The user interface was not as intuitive, the app ecosystem was lacking, and the overall experience just wasn't as polished or enjoyable. So there you have it, the 7 key reasons behind Nokia's decline. It's a classic tale of how even the mightiest can fall if they fail to adapt and innovate. Nokia's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that no company, no matter how dominant, is immune to the forces of change in the tech world. But it's also a story of resilience. Nokia may have lost its smartphone crown, but the company is still around, reinventing itself in the telecommunications infrastructure business.